Welcome to my podcast, Hey Dancer. I am your host, Miller DeRay, and today I am diving into something I've been sitting on for a while, something I've definitely noticed since returning to dance class after decades away. And maybe about every 1 or 2 months on this show, I will dive deep into some area of dance, specifically class, where I have noticed, a change in my return coming back after 3 decades. And today, that topic is, why is choreography so fast now, specifically in class? And I don't mean the pace it's taught, although that is honestly very much also a thing, but that's a whole other episode that, we'll get to someday. Today, I'm talking about the actual movement, the speed, the density, the amount of steps and accents and layers and textures crammed into 1/8 count that decades ago, I swear, was not a thing. Which doesn't mean, by the way, this is important to note, that class was easier back then. It was really hard. It just prioritized different things like technique and artistry. I've often said, I think this is kind of funny, but maybe it's just my sense of humor, that one day choreo will be so fast, you won't be actually able to see it. It'll be a blur, You'll have to do a slow motion replay to actually see the choreography. Today, I just want to explore why. Why is class choreo so fast now? But before I do, take a second, why don't you, to engage with this podcast in whatever way feels best to you. Like, follow, subscribe, comment, share, rate, review, I've said this often. I pay attention to all of it. I am a one-man show. I am the only one on my team, and these take a little longer than you may realize or anticipate. So honestly, that rating review, oh my gosh, it goes so far, and it lets me know that this is being received by dancers, by the dance world, and that just makes my heart very, very happy. Okay, now, I've actually posted about this on social media. One reel I made with text overlays flashing across the screen and me kind of bopping around. This was actually filmed when I was in Puerto Vallarta for my healing trip, which turned out not to be so healing. Anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, you will see it. Anyway, so the reel, which is playing now, it says, "The new definition of advanced in dance class. The pace of the choreography, i.e., how many movements can be squeezed into the least amount of counts. But the wise dancer understands the skill required to dance slower. Ooh, the technique, patience, and control." Now, this reel did seem to resonate because it went mini viral at 240,000 views, which I only mention because, again, dancers get it. It was obviously relatable. It resonated. Okay, so now we're getting to it. Theory number 1, and I may be kicking myself in a minute because oftentimes when I count on this podcast, reason number 1, tip number 2, I lose count, but I won't this time. Okay, this is probably the most obvious culprit: device culture and social media. In other words, choreo is being built for the camera more than the dancer. We live in a world of short attention spans, scroll, swipe, scroll. It's all about stimulation and speed. TikTok, Instagram, everything is engineered to grab your attention, and fast. There's even research showing that successful YouTube videos use visual cuts every 2 to 3 seconds just to keep people watching. Otherwise, audience engagement, they say, is gonna drop. So how does that relate to class? Well, class combos have become content. Clips from combos are filmed and posted. Oftentimes, that's even the main focus of a lot of classes. And the dance teacher, the choreographer, most likely understands that if the movement isn't punchy, fast, or filled to the rim of clean hits, that look really great on camera, well, they're going to assume it's not going to perform well, online, on their socials. It's like the faster and flashier, the better. Algorithms often, not always, but often reward attention-grabbing visuals, which leads choreographers and dance teachers to perhaps prioritize intensity and intricacy. Fast movement, they think, reads better in short, high stimulation videos. So many teachers and choreographers in general are now creating choreo specifically to be filmed, not necessarily taught. Foundation technique. It's about you better pick it up fast or you're out. Now, side note, this is definitely an important skill to master as a dancer, picking up choreo fast, but that's not what this podcast is about today. Something else I've joked about on my socials is when we're learning the combo in class and then the teacher finally plays the music and the choreo is like 4 times as fast, than the tempo you were just learning it at. What? This happens all the time, which is another, supportive example as to just this whole thing. Now, here is actually a montage from my Return to Dance docuseries, which I made into, a short video for social media. It's a montage of my first few months of taking class, and I would post class vlog, and I put this collection together of me just lamenting as to how fast the choreo is now. When the choreography is up to tempo, it's impossible for me, my brain, right now. I can't get it. He did the beginning, and he taught it to us, and I got it, and then the music is on, and it's like... It was taught so much, so fast. He did it slow, and it felt really good slow. And then he did it to tempo, and it was like... And I'm like, whoa! Got to the point in his class where nobody could catch the choreography as fast as it was supposed to be. So we just did it in halftime the whole time. After half the class was over, he was like, we'll just do it slower. It was so fast, the combination, so fast. I caught the choreography better in this contemporary class because it was much more expressive and the movement was like, you were more just moving versus everything being upper body and arms, hands, fast, arms, hands. This one wasn't nearly as fast, not nearly as fast. So I was able to catch it better. As soon as he put the music on and I saw how fast the choreography really was, I'm not lying, my brain just shut down. I'm like, nah, no. I don't excel in his class because the choreography is so obnoxiously fast. And I'm not alone. Everybody in the class felt the exact same way. And he had to stop it and just teach only a couple counts of 8 because it was so hard to catch because it was so fast. So much of it was so fast. That's my thing. It's the commonality in all the classes I take. When she was teaching in half tempo, I was loving it. And then when it was in regular full tempo, I'm like, oh my God, it's just so fast. Do you think I said the word fast enough? I'm a little self-conscious as to how much I said it, but it was so true. I remember this one class at Millennium LA, MDC, Millennium Dance Complex, where the teacher taught the combo and didn't play the music for a long time. And when they finally put the music on, we all just stood there like it was a practical joke. We all turned to each other, just kind of whispering, and we were all like, I'm sorry, even now it's just so funny to me. I just see all of us standing there like, why is it so fast? It's so fast. Why is it so fast? It felt really good before the music was on. That tempo, like right in the pocket of how it, I don't know, seemed like it should be, and then the music comes on, and the teacher shows us the actual tempo, and it was like, am I on candid camera? What? Bottom line, all of those situations, scenarios are supportive examples of choreo being taught in class where it's exceedingly fast to stand out, to really pop on social. And there you are. Now on to theory number 2. Choreo as branding in a crowded market. Kind of related, but with so many choreographers, speed becomes a shortcut to stand out and appear advanced. Bottom line, there are more choreographers than ever and a ton of competition for attention. And when you're one of a million choreographers trying to get noticed, fast, intricate movement becomes a shorthand for advanced, for wow, for watch me. So I'll keep that one quick. I think it's self-explanatory. It relates to number 1, but maybe a branch off that tree. On to theory number 3, competitive dance. A lot of dance teachers today are on the younger side. And they grew up in the comp world where speed and tricks have been and currently are getting more and more rewarded. And that aesthetic carries over into class choreography. Now, that's not inherently a bad thing altogether. It's just one influence. But when you stack that on top of social media culture, it makes sense why everything's getting faster. Speaking of these younger teachers, let's get to theory number 4. Am I on the right number? I think so. Some teachers, usually on the younger side, are chasing relevance and trends, and speed becomes a test, a flex, if you will. Keep up or get out, you know? Especially at certain dance studios in certain areas, certain cities. They're not really prepping dancers for jobs or a long career. It feels like showing off. So in my notes, this was theory number 5, but as I'm thinking about it, this is less a theory and more like a response to this situation, which is class choreo doesn't equal industry choreo. What's trending in class doesn't match what is booked in the real world. Slower, more intentional movement is still key. This part is really important. Fast class choreo does not equal industry choreography. If you watch award shows, concert tours, commercials, the movement is tight, yeah, but it's usually somewhat slower. It is bigger and it's more controlled. It has to read for the camera or the back row of a stadium. I mean, look at Beyonce's dancers or Usher's. They're precise, they hit hard, but they're not cramming 14 moves into 4 counts. There's groove, there's breath, there's intention. Even in Broadway or TV film auditions, choreographers are looking for storytelling, for technique, for control, not this like blur of movement, you know, like so fast. So what we're seeing in class might be more about impressing peers and gaining online traction than preparing for bookings, for stuff in the real world, and that is worth calling out. So to wrap this up, fast choreo is just that. It's what's trending right now, but it won't last forever. Dance trends evolve. In the 80s and 90s, there was space in movement, breath. Think Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation. Every move had weight. Or Fosse, stylized, intentional, with moments of stillness. Even early hip-hop was rooted in groove and groundedness. Now we're in this, like, rapid-fire era, but that'll change. It always does. And dancers who can master nuance, clarity, and control, they will always be valuable, no matter the trend. So here is what I want to leave you with. Slower choreography is beautiful. And slower, by the way, doesn't mean slow. I'm not talking just, lyrical jazz or something. I just mean slower, which could totally still be upbeat, just not on crack with endless micro movements crammed into each count. It doesn't mean easy. It demands breath, control, clarity, patience, technique, and storytelling. It gives you room to dance from your soul, not just muscle memory. Personally, I don't like dancing that crazy fast. I feel like a lot of the time, so much of the movement is lost because it's so quick at tempo. For example, I was taking this locking class online, and the instructor literally said that some of the movement won't really be possible when it's at full tempo. I swear, that is what they said. And I was like, why? I don't get it. Is it just fast? Just to be fast? Anyway, not only do I not love dancing that insanely fast, I don't like watching choreo that is performed so darn fast. It's almost like I tense up holding my breath. Sure, it's impressive, but it feels like a trick to me more than pulling me into a story. Good choreo, to me at least. This is just my own opinion here, okay? I would love your opinion, so tell me in the comments on this. But yeah, good choreo, to me, might have those faster moments, but they're layered with release and moments that breathe. So if you are someone who has been overwhelmed in class lately, you're not behind, you're not broken, and your artistry is still valid. So, what now? Well, before I mentioned how on YouTube there's all this research about quick cuts to hold people's attention, but it's important to note there's a new trend. Long-form YouTubers, people who talk to the camera for 30 minutes or longer, maybe just a talking head or a podcast interview. No music, barely any cuts, and they still have a massive following, massive retention rate. Why? Because good content is good content. Good storytelling is good storytelling. Just like good choreo will always be good choreo. It's not about speed, it is about substance. So, if you're a returner to dance like myself, or just someone trying to keep up in class and feeling overwhelmed, this episode is your reminder that fast is a trend, not a rule. The industry doesn't always want lightning speed. Slow, grounded movement is just as impressive, if not more. and you don't have to move at the speed of light to be a great dancer. So yeah, choreo is for sure fast right now, and that speed comes from a perfect storm. Social media algorithms, comp culture aesthetics, content creation pressures, and the need to stand out. But fast does not mean better. Please remember that, okay? You know what's funny? There's this IG account that kind of makes fun of things from the 80s, and they somehow found a clip of my sister and I on Star Search with the it makes me laugh with the text overlay star snort. Get it? As in snorting the white stuff, as in we were dancing so fast we had to be on some kind of drug. It was hysterical, but what threw me was that I never thought we danced that fast, even though I do totally remember being out of breath every time we finished the combo, and our choreographer did work really hard to jam as much into our segment as possible. So yeah, we danced fast for sure, but it was a standalone thing for TV, and I think the big difference is our moves were big. Yeah, we moved fast, but there wasn't a lot of micro movements crammed into every count, which is a big part of this conversation. And if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, you will see this Star Search clip that the guy put on his Instagram calling it Star Snort. And I do have to share with you some of the comments because they had me rolling. And by the way, yeah, again, if you're watching this, you will see the Star Search footage, which I don't think is nearly as appreciated without the music, but there you are. Okay, reading some comments here. Candace Hobbs says, "Oh shit, that's got to be some extra snorts. Ha 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 ha." Gray Garden Cial says, "I just got whiplash from watching this." C. Meb Swift says, "This one is extra nuts. The cameraman couldn't even keep up." Culinary Soldier says, "That was exhausting and I only watched it." John LH64 said, "Gotta shut my eyes. That's the human version of strobe lighting." DJ Eric Wright 8 says, "Cocaine is a marvelous motivator. MC Baryshnikov is a darn good twirler." It's ironic, right? That people thought we danced so fast, and in my mind, it just wasn't even that fast. But watching it back, I guess it was. But again, it was bigger movement versus all the micro movement. All right, there it is. Another podcast under wraps. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with your dance fam. Like, subscribe. Did I say that already twice? I don't remember anything. I'm just happy to have you here. That's all I got. I'd love to hear what tempo you thrive in best when it comes to choreography. All right, let me know in the comments or shoot me a DM at Back to Great. Until next time.